It is time to expose the ugly truth about the high value woman advice. I've coached over hundreds of women, and when they first come to me, they are single and confused, even though they have been following the trendy advice of how to be a high value woman, but they're more confused than ever. They've been following the advice and it's still not working. They're still not getting the commitment that they want. They don't get the treatment that they want. People don't see them as high value women. Why is that? Well, because so much of that advice is rooted in fear. It's rooted in perfection and being a performer, and it's never going to work. And today, I'm going to expose the truth. I'm going to give you the advice that I give them, and it immediately changes everything. So if you want advice that is actually going to work for you, you're in the right place. The first thing that we're going to talk about is that your value has nothing to do with the perfume that you wear, with the color of lipstick, with the way that you walk, with the clothes that you wear, how much money you make, or whether you text a guy first or not. It has nothing to do with that. Your worth, your value has nothing to do with an external thing that is outside of you. So much of the messaging out there is trying to tell you that you are not good enough yet. You're not. This is the measurement. This is what the high value woman is. And you're somewhere down here. And it's going to make you feel inferior, make you feel bad about yourself. And I don't know about you, but I've never found somebody that feels bad and inferior and unsure about themselves very attractive. So if you tie your worth and value based on something external, you're always going to be dependent on that. And you're always going to chase something that is outside of you to feel good about yourself. And that is what's confusing because so many women follow this advice. They go after what is an external thing that is going to make them feel better about themselves. And when they do it and it doesn't work, they now have to find something else. They now have to find another external thing to feel good about themselves. And that's what's so confusing. So many women follow this advice and they go and buy the perfume or buy the branding of the clothing, thinking all of a sudden their value is going to go up. And when it doesn't work, it becomes so frustrating, and yet they think there must be something else that I'm missing. So understand this, your worth and value has nothing to do with things that are outside of you. Now, does that mean that you don't take care of yourself? You don't wear the clothing that you love? You don't wear the perfume that you love? Of course you do. But you do it because it feels good to you. Because taking care of your appearances, taking care of your hygiene feels loving to you because you value yourself and you want to feel good and look good, you do them. But not because you're trying to be valuable. You're doing it because you value yourself. Do you understand the difference? It's subtle, but it's a big impact. There's a difference between when I wear something that I love because it feels good to me, because when I wear it, it makes me feel good and I love giving myself the things that make me feel good, or when I wear them because I think the outside world is going to perceive me as beautiful, as valuable. They're going to see me, a man is going to see me as a high value woman. There's a world of difference between the two of them. Now, let's talk about the dating dynamic when it comes to the high value woman advice. They tell you not to text a man first. Let him chase you, let him pursue you. Sure, I love that advice. But what they don't tell you is that there is a big difference between a woman who values herself and doesn't do it, and a woman that is only doing it so she can make the guy think that she's valuing herself. Let me break it down for you. So if you're not texting a guy that you like, sitting on your hands, feeling anxious, worrying whether or not he's going to ever text you again, and obsessing about him, worrying about it. So what you're doing, you're just acting. You're pretending. It's not the truth that you don't find a man that is not pursuing you attractive. You're just waiting around hoping that he would choose you. Now tell me, what about that screams, I value myself? What it is screaming is that I'm going to pretend and do whatever it takes to fool you, to make you want to pursue me, to make you think that I am not going to chase guys. But the truth of it is that if I could, I would be running after you. Now, this is where the problem lies, that they are not telling you that the root of the problem is not that you just don't chase a guy, that you don't just text a guy. The root is that you have to actually sit down and ask yourself, why am I obsessing over a man that is not pursuing me, that is playing perhaps games with me, that is wanting to see if he doesn't text me, would I text him first? Why am I attracted to that? Why am I hoping that he would choose me? That's where the problem is. That when we value ourselves, we don't actually feel turned on by a man that plays games with us. We don't have time for that. We're not children. I want a man who knows exactly what he wants and he's going to make it known. That's when a woman is not even really wanting to text a guy first. And by the way, a woman that really values herself, sometimes she texts first and she doesn't overthink it. But you know how she does it? She's not doing it to chase him or plead with him or to make him remember her. She's doing it because she wants to. She's doing it because it felt good and she doesn't question herself and worry what he's going to think afterwards. That's why, whether or not you text him first or not has nothing to do with your wordiness. It's the energy behind it. It's a thought process behind it. It's where it's coming from. It's where it's coming from. Now, let me tell you something that none of them are telling you. There is no such thing of how to become a high value woman. You already are a high value woman. I bet you didn't expect me to say that. You are worthy. You are high value because you are. You have to do nothing to increase your worth and value. Now, there is such thing as high value behavior and low value behavior. It has nothing to do with who you are, but there are behaviors that are, of course, of high or low value. If I lose it in the supermarket just because someone cut in front of me and starts screaming at them, that is low value behavior. Now, it doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm a low value woman, but I had a moment that I started acting in behavior that is perceived as low value. And guess what? By treating someone else's poorly, I showed that I don't value them. Because if I value a person, I don't give myself permission to speak to them in such manner. So if we bring it back to dating scenario, let's say you text a guy over and over and over, what does it say? Does it say that you're a low value woman? No, it doesn't. But does it say that you don't value yourself and you're kind of embarrassing yourself? Yes. Does it say that you don't know how to regulate your emotions and you are rage texting somebody because of that? Yes. Does it mean when you really want to say no to something, you say yes because you're so afraid that he's not going to like you? That is a low value behavior? Yes. Why? Because you don't value yourself. You're putting him in front of you. You're putting him liking you ahead of what matters to you, what is important to you. Do you see the trend here? Do you see that being a high value woman is the only thing that it's tied to is how much you value you? So the way that you walk, the way that you dress, the way that you talk, it is only a representation of how much you value yourself. And if you value yourself, all of that is going to come naturally. You don't have to follow any advice. When you are valuing yourself, of course, you're going to take care of your body. Of course, you're going to be speaking to people with love and respect. Of course, you're going to advocate for yourself. Of course, you're going to have boundaries. So the advice that is out there that is telling you this is what you should be doing, what's really missing is that they are trying to tell you to perform this way as opposed to really learn to love and value yourself. When you value yourself, you take care of your mental health. When you value yourself, you regulate your nervous system. When you value yourself, you value other people. So understand this, being a high value woman only means that you highly value yourself. It means that you don't operate from fear. It means that you are not chasing perfection. It means that you are not performing. So if I were to give you homework like I do with all of my clients when they first come to me, is to ask you to contemplate on how much do you really value yourself. And if you want to know if you do value yourself, I want you to become super honest with how you behave, because how you behave is directly rooted in how much you value yourself. So, for example, if a woman comes to me and she is not texting guys first, but really what is going on inside of her is that she is so worried, she's so anxious, she's questioning herself. Well, our work together is going to start with first learning how to regulate her nervous system. Secondly, we're going to do transformational coaching so she doesn't get validation from a man's attention, from a man texting her and validating her and making her feel good about herself. Or if my client is struggling with overwhelm and there is just so much burnout, we're going to be looking at where she has closed her receiving channel, where she is not willing to receive support, why she's not valuing herself to let herself be supported by people around her or higher support. So when you're doing this homework, what we really want to do is to look at the ways that you struggle to be the high value woman that you are. Or really, you're behaving like you are not valuing yourself. And it's because you're not. Our behavior is coming from how we feel about ourselves. Remember that? So if in order for us for the results to change, we have to change the programming. We have to change how we love and value ourselves. So what I want you to do is to take an honest look in what ways you're not valuing yourself, and we can dial it back to where it's coming from. It's almost like a fruit, for example. So when you are picking an apple from an apple tree, it's because there was an apple seed that was planted. That's where it's coming from. And if you want orange, you have to plant orange. It's never going to change. Year after year, it's going to give you the same thing until the root is different. And that's what we're doing here. We have to stop following the advice of just wear a lipstick that is this color or put on this perfume or just don't text them first and that's going to all of a sudden make you high value. No, we want to actually change from the root and truly value yourself. So when you do that, you're never going to have to follow any advice anyways. Just like if you plant an apple seed, all you have to do is to take care of that seed and then it will eventually give you apple. There's nothing else that you need to do. The same thing goes for you. If you truly value yourself, there's nothing else, no other advice that you need to follow. It's just going to come naturally. It will be the fruit of that seed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel because I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to give you the trendy mainstream advice that is not going to get you anywhere because I want you to win. And I want you to remember you already are high value woman. You don't need to learn how to be a high value woman. All you need to do is to value yourself.